Now we're live. I'm gonna do some introduction in Portuguese, and after this, we can continue with your lecture, okay? Now we're live.
Okay.
I'm
Hello.
gonna do some introduction in Portuguese, and after this, we can continue with your lecture, okay? Sound is coming from place that I don't know where, but okay. Some introduction in Portuguese. Olá, pessoal. Tudo bom? Obrigada por quem está vendo a live. Obrigado por quem está tentando vir aqui no espaço físico. E obrigado por quem vai chegar no espaço físico. Agora a gente vai ter o Dhrumil falando sobre como construir seu primeiro aplicativo com Dart, com Flutter, desculpa, e por trás tem o Dart, etc. E eu vou deixar que ele fale. A palestra toda é em inglês. E fiquem à vontade para fazer perguntas. Se vocês não se sentirem confortáveis em perguntar em inglês, podem perguntar em português, que eu vou ter o maior prazer de traduzir. Então, Dhrumil, it's on you now. So, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dhrumil. I'm from India, and I'm a GDE for Flutter. So this is the first time that I'm delivering the session, which is like outside of my country. So yeah, so let's just start with that. Yeah, so this is just a basic introduction that who I am. I'm a GDE for Flutter and Dart. I'm working as in co-organizer of another GDG called GDG Ahmedabad, which is in India. I'm working as a senior application developer for a company called Go High Level, as in full-time Flutter developer. And also I'm a founder of one Twitter handle called Flutter Flex. So in 2017, I started my career with the Flutter, and also in 2017, the Flutter releases its alpha release. So Flutter is with that alpha release, and in 2020, everyone are like looking at the Flutter, even whether they are the Java developer, Kotlin, or a Swift. All the mobile application developer are looking at the Flutter. The reason why they are looking at the Flutter, let's just identify. So the one reason is the Android Studio. If you are from the Android background, you might be knowing that if you start just building your Android application, it will take a lot of time. And when it gets end, you may feel like, okay, it's like taking time like an ages. And that's the one of the reason that why people are looking up to the Flutter. The second is Xcode. Now to run iOS application, everyone needs a Mac operating system. And we know that how costly it is, and it is a bit difficult to have the Apple system. Apart from the IDE, there are some devices in the market. So any kind of or any beautiful app you build, what will happen that that particular device will actually override their own themes or own fonts on an application, in which actually ruin the whole user interface and the whole user experience, and which got just masked up, right? So now, also there are some of the managers or some of the clients available who will come to you and will ask that, hey, I want an Android app which should look same as iOS, or maybe the vice versa. If they have an Android or maybe they have an iOS app, they will ask for an Android app. So it is actually very difficult to develop the same application for both the platform, because you require two different kind of skill set, two different code bases, and to maintain that. Apart from all these things, there are some technical surveys that has been happened in the last year, and which says, so this is the one screenshot from the GitHub survey of the last 2019, or their annual report, where the GitHub is saying that the Flutter is like into the top 10 trending projects, and Flutter stands at the level at the third rank. So you can see that how beneficial and how famous the Flutter is getting right now. The another survey is a release, or another report is released by the LinkedIn, and they say that the Flutter is the fastest growing skill among all software engineers. So if you are from the mobile background, or if you want to start your career into the mobile, I will suggest you to try the Flutter, and let's see how whether would you like or not, and whatever your feedback is. So let's just understand what exactly the Flutter is. So Flutter is made by Google. It is an open source project. So Flutter is a Google's UI toolkit for building beautiful native compiled application for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. Now, this is something amazing. Till now, we are familiar with some cross-platform technologies, which is only for the mobile, but not for the web and desktop and everything. And here, the Flutter is supporting almost all the platforms. Let's see how it is doing. So this is the basic structure of the Flutter. Let's just understand from the top to bottom. So whatever basic libraries or basic class or objects you need, it comes from the top layer, which is called material or Cupertino. What is the material and Cupertino? That I will show you in the demo. And these both material and Cupertino are the part of another layer called widget. So whenever you use or you want to create your UI, you might be taking some widgets which are part of maybe material or Cupertino. Now that particular part will go to the render layer. That render layer will actually draw on the screen, and rendering part will be maintained or managed by this layer. The next is animation, painting, and gesture. So whatever the kind of animation which required, the painting on the screen or the gesture that you make, whether it's a tab, double tap, or a pinch to zoom. So that everything is taken by the fourth layer. And the last is the main foundation where the whole main code is written. Now, all the things are written in the language called Dart. And the core, using all this thing, whatever the things is getting executed, this is run in this C++, and this is the engine. Now, this Flutter engine is a part of three things. One is a Skia engine, which is almost same like any game engine. Let me just give an example. You might have played so much games which look same on all the devices. For example, you might have played maybe the Temple Run. You might have played the Candy Crush game. You might have played the different game which looks not almost, like all same on Android and iOS. Now how that works, because they have the game engine. Now what game engine is doing is, so everything whatever happening on the screen is being taken care by that particular game engine, and the Flutter is following the same fundamentals, same like in the game engine. So here the Skia is the engine which is written in the C++, is there to take care of all the things which is happening on your screen. Also, as we know, the Flutter supports the Dart language. So there is one portion of the Dart, and the text that you are seeing on the screen is being managed by the text. Now, this architecture is actually for the mobile framework. Now, as I said, Flutter supports the web also. So how it can support from the single code base all the different platforms. So everything is been taken care automatically by the Flutter. So here the top layer are the same. So that's why whatever the code that you have written, there is no change, and everything is managed by the Flutter framework itself. Because whenever you run your Flutter on your web, so that Skia engine is replaced by the Canvas with the JS engine and the DOM. Those who are from the web background, they might be aware what is DOM. Is a document object model. So whatever you write using the JavaScript, it will get rendered by your browser on your web browser screen. So that's how the Flutter is able to actually give the support on the mobile and as well as the web and the desktop. Let's just understand how Flutter is different from the other native or cross-platform framework. I don't know how much different frameworks are available or you are aware of, but the Flutter actually compiles the code into the native one, which is called the machine code. So in Android or in iOS or in mobile, it's the whole code being converted into the ARM code, which your OS can directly understand. There is no bridge in between. Let me just explain you in some much better manner. So if you are working as a native developer for Android application, you are using the Android SDK. For iOS application, you might be using iOS SDK. Those who are working on the cross-platform, they might be aware of this kind of different technologies, which are like Titanium, Cordova, PhoneGap, Ionic. Now, these all frameworks are most of the like the web views, where whatever the code you write in HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, that will be taken care of this framework, and the whole screen will be presented on your device into the web view. So actually, it is not your native code. It is actually running inside the web view, and you feel like it is actually an app, but originally it is just a web view, and your HTML, CSS, JavaScript code is running. Then comes the React Native. Now, React Native is a new, and it's not that new, but yeah, it's a quite good technology in compared to the older one, which is Titanium PhoneGap. So they have the reactive views, and Flutter uses all the benefits of the available system, like from the compiled and nativeness and the interpreted and the reactive views from the React Native background. That means the Flutter gives you the reactive views and compiles the code into the native one. And that's why Flutter is smooth compared to all existing technologies. Now in Flutter, whatever you see on the screen is all our widgets. So you can see on the screen, like these are the some screenshots from the different apps available in the market. You can also go and check out this link, which is itsallwidgets.com, where you can see there are a lot of applications being made or developed using Flutter. So in all this 4 different screen, if anything that you are seeing, it's the widget, right? Everything from the top to bottom, the animation and everything is in widget. A widget can be like a structure element, like a button or a menu. It can be a design element also, like a font or color. So now here is the difference between the other technologies and the Flutter. In other technologies, which are the web-based technologies, where if you want to do designing, you need to write the CSS differently and your business logic in the JavaScript. Where in Flutter, everything is a widget and you have to write simple in a Dart language. Even the layout element like a margin or padding is a widget. So anything you can figure out, everything is in widget in the Flutter. And the best part is your app itself is in widget. So for example, if you're running an app, your app itself is a widget. Let me just show you. So in a Flutter, your code starts with the main function, and that is a one method called run app. It simply accepts one widget. And here you can see my app is in one widget, which is a kind of a stateless. What is that I'll explain you in later slides. So just understand, everything in app in Flutter is a widget, and your app itself is a widget. So now you can imagine you can do anything with the Flutter, right? And that's the main highlight, and which is one of my favorite part, that why I love Flutter. Let's just understand what is stateless and stateful widget, right? So just understand or just visualize that stateless or stateful. Just forget about these 2 terms and just focus on the widget. Widget is like that we discussed. Whatever you see on the screen is a widget. Now, if you want to change particular screen in a different manner, and based on that, you can identify whether it's a stateless or stateful. Okay, so let's just first, what is the stateless widget? So stateless is like a dumb widget. It's like a normal Pojo class, which doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any method. It just have the properties. So whatever data you pass, it will just simply render on the screen. That's it. And if you want to re-render the screen, or if you want to change that particular widget, the look and feel or the data, if its parents widget get changed, or if you change the data that you are passing through that widget, only that particular widget will get re-rendered. Otherwise, it is just as the dumb and the simple widget as it is. Right. So that's how the stateless widget is defined. The next is a stateful widget. Now, stateful widget is like a dynamic widget which has its own property. So if you add some methods in your Pocho class or in your normal Java class, so what will happen? You can actually change that parameters value using those functions. For example, you have a class called employee, and there is one parameter called salary. And if you want to update the salary or the reduce or the manipulate the salary, you have the one method, and that particular method will update the salary parameter. So the same analogy for the stateful widget, where a widget or a screen, for example, there is a one screen, which is a dashboard. And on the dashboard, I have three data. One, the male-female ratio. The second is the country. And third is, for example, the age group. Now, if I want to change the data from the single widget, so those three becomes my property. And those properties known as my state of that particular widget. Now, if I want to change those data, for example, my current ratio is like 20/80. I want to change that ratio from 40/60. To change that data into the stateful widget, I'm using the method called setState. Now, this setState method will actually rebuild my stateful widget. So what will happen? That state data will get changed, but the screen will not change until and unless I will call the setState method. Now, whatever the thing that I'm discussing, I'll show you in the code how it actually get affected, right? So each time your widget gets rebuilt whenever you call the setState method. Okay, now this is one of my favorite part, which is called hot reload. So in Android, iOS, or any development framework, whenever I want to do any change, I have to rebuild my whole application. If I want to change a color, if I want to change a particular data or anything, and it will actually consume a lot of time. So in Flutter, there is a one feature called hot reload. Here you can see my current text is like button tapped. What I did, I simply just changed the value of button clicked. As soon as I click and save, it directly reflects onto my app. Now I want to change the logic, which is plus plus to minus minus. I did that, and now I'm clicking, it is getting minus minus. So that means I do not need to restart my whole application. Even my current state is preserved, and I can actually see all the changes live in the action just within a seconds. You can see I have also tried to cover the time, in how much time it is getting pushed in the live code. So it is like less than 1 second, and it is getting pushed, and you can see. We'll see in the demo. Yeah, it's a demo time. Let's see how it works. Okay. Okay, so as soon as you, sorry. So if you want to start the Flutter application project, what things you need to do is, first, you need to download your Flutter SDK. Let me just show you how you can do that. You can just simply go to flutter.dev website. And here you can find the each and every details. Just go get started, and it will show what you need to do. It's all step-by-step guide. Whether you have a Windows system, Mac OS, or Linux, just simply click on this and just follow the instruction, and you are ready to go. Once your setup is done, I'm using IDE called VS Code. So this is another advantage of the Flutter. Flutter supports VS Code, Android Studio, IntelliJ IDE. Even you can write the code in the Sublime also if you love it. And it has a very powerful CLI, which is command line. So you can just write your code, whatever your favorite IDE, and it will just simply run. Why I'm using the VS Code? Because it is a lightweight and it saves some good amount of processing power compared to Android Studio. So that's why I'm using the VS Code. So in the VS Code, if you want to start or create a new application, you just need to simply go to your VS Code command. And here you can just go and type Flutter new project. It will ask for the name and the location. Once you will done, you will be able to see this one whole file, which is like pre-built application by the Flutter SDK itself. Let me just stop it and run it. So once you run the program on the first time, so it is getting launched. It is building. As I'm running on the Android emulator, so that's what it is building. Now my app is built, and now the files are syncing. Okay, it is here. Here you can see I have something in the top bar with the one title. I have some text in between on the center, a one counter, and one button. Now, if I press on this button, it will increase the value of the particular text, right? What we'll do is we will actually create a one application, and I will remove the whole code. But before removing the code, let me just help you with the file structure of how the file structure is in the Flutter. So as you create your Flutter project, there are dedicated folders for the Android and for the iOS if you want to do something specific for the platform. And the whole Flutter code is available in the lib folder, and there is a one file called main.dart. Here is the main folder. Now let me just delete the whole code. I'm removing the whole code. And as we discussed, in the Flutter, there is a main app, which is a starting point, and there is one method called run app. As you can see, the run app accepts a one widget. So I need to write my own widget. So currently I'm writing my Stateless class, which is like my app. And here I can simply pass my app object. Now, if you notice, in the Flutter or in the Dart, as the Flutter uses the Dart language, here the new keyword is optional. So I'm not writing the new keyword. I can simply ignore it. And I'm just creating my new object of my app. And I'm just passing to my run app method. Now, I'll simply save it. And as soon as I click saved, my app goes blank because there is nothing. There is just an empty container. What I want to do is, in my app, I want to create one material app. So I will simply create material app. In material app, I have my home screen. Now, in home screen, I need another widget. So I will create my first screen as in another widget. So I'll create another stateless widget as in home screen. I'll simply pass the home screen here. Okay, so again, there is nothing, but here I can see a one banner which is called debug. That means currently I am into the debug mode. It is not in the production. Let's just try to mimic a WhatsApp kind of screen. So before we go, let me just help you with. So whenever you create any screen, let's take in WhatsApp screenshot. Okay. So if you are able to see in the WhatsApp, here there is one top bar. Here is a list. We are just keeping this tab thing as of now. So here is a list. In list, we have the list item where we have one image, name of the content, and some description. Right. So the Flutter is a kind of very simple language, and it will help you in such a way that the way you speak, you have to write the code. So for example, now I want to create an application where it will be like a basic structure, and we have a ready-made widget called scaffold. The meaning of a scaffold is like the basic structure. If you want to build anything, you want to build a building, there is a scaffolding available. So the same thing in the scaffold. So now if I want to do a bar, I'll simply type a bar. I'll simply say it, and my bar is available. Right. What I want to do now, I want into that bar, I want to add title. So I will add title. So title accepts another widget. So we have the another widget called text. Here I will write first app, and I'll simply save, and I can see a title over here.
Ixi, acho que caiu. Só um minutinho, pessoal, problemas técnicos. Vou até perguntar para ele o que aconteceu. Mas até agora vocês estão tendo alguma dúvida? Só um minuto, pessoal. Problemas técnicos. Ó, se a gente achava que a nossa internet é ruim, ó, da Índia também acontece essas coisas, viu? Não é só no Brasil, não. Então, vamos dar uma pausazinha. Sim, a conexão dele, ele inclusive falou, network lost. Então, ele falou que ele perdeu a conexão. Aqui ele voltou. Hi, Dhrumil.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, there was a network loss.
Yes.
Now I'm.
That's your internet was lost, but I guess it's now everything's fine, so you can continue.
Yeah. Okay, so we were like in the app where we were working on a screen. What we have done, a simple screen where we have one app bar. An app bar, we have a text. Now what we want is we want one floating action button. So here in the scaffold, we have one app bar property. We have again a floating action button property. So here floating action button, and we have another widget called floating action button. If I simply save, and you can see we have a floating action button. Now in floating action button, I want to add an icon, and it has a property called child. Here I will add icon, icons dot, for example, camera. I'll simply save it, and I have a camera icon. So as I was saying, it is as simple as you are speaking. What you want a scaffold. In scaffold, you need an app bar. In app bar, you need a title. Title is a kind of a text, so it is accepting a text. Now in a title, if you want some buttons, which is the action button, for example, search. So what you can do, you can simply go to app bar. Here's a property called action, which accepts the array of widget. So here we will add icon button. In icon button, I have icon and on praise. Here I will add icon, icons dot search, and on praise. Currently I'm keeping as a null because we don't have to any action. Now, as you have seen, if I'm keeping on praise as a null, it is like disabled. If I want to enable it, I simply create a blank method and it is enabled. Now, if I click on it, nothing happened because we haven't brought a single code over here. Okay, so this is one. If I want to add some more, I can simply just copy this, simply paste. I'll need to just add comma, and here I will add like vertical more button. Where is the vertical more? Okay, it's okay. We will simply create the more button, more vertical, and save. So here you can see we have now two buttons. Now apart from this, if I want to add the drawer, navigation drawer, which will come from the left side. So again, the scaffold has the another property called drawer. So I'll simply click on drawer, and we have the ready-made widget drawer, and ta-da! We have the drawer here, and you can put anything in the drawer. Right? Just one line of code, and you have the navigation drawer. let's just build our list. Okay, so this is the body part of our app, of our scaffold. So in scaffold, till now we discussed about the app bar, its title and its different property, floating action button, drawer. Now it's time to body. Okay, now in body, have you ever tried to create your list view? So you might have realized that to create a list view, like it's a pain, right? If you're from the Android background, you know there are recycler view. You need to create the base adapter. You need to create the two different layouts. So in Flutter, it's like just simple 4 lines of work. Let me just show you. So we want a list view. So here we have listview.builder method. And here we have a property called item builder. Now, item builder will accept one callback. That callback gives 2 parameters. One is the build context. So as we have a context in our base adapter, the same thing we have over here, and index. Right now, what it returns is simply written. For example, let's just return simply a text, and here we will simply show the data that data or a list item dollar index plus 1, and we will simply save it. As you can see, we have a list view which is infinite because we haven't put any limit. So just in a 3 line, 1, 2, and 3, we have a list view. Now, if I want to restrict my list view, I can simply add one parameter called item count. For example, 40. Save. Yeah, I have a 40 list item. If I want to change it to like 10, I can simply do 10. Okay. Now, this doesn't look good. It doesn't give me feels like a WhatsApp kind of layout, right? So what we'll do, we'll simply change this text to the different widget that we have in Flutter, which is a list tile. In list tile, we have a property called title, which accepts text. So here we write like chat dollar index plus 1, and we'll simply save it. So here we have a 10 chat window. Ta-da! Now it's still not looks good. So let me just add subtitle, and here we will add this is the description. And yep, we have the description, the small text. See, here you can see that I haven't wrote a single line of code to style this particular thing. I haven't specified my font size. For title is like big, for subtitles is small, nothing. It's like, it just works like magically because this list style is a part of a material theme. And in the material, they have defined their own default sizes, which is like very beneficial. Now, if I want to add on the leading part of this particular any chat item, so we have a property called leading here. In the leading, I'll simply write circle avatar. And here you can see save. And we have the circle avatar here. Now, if I want to do something here, I'll simply write, or maybe the index parameter, index plus 1. Now this is giving error because I need to wrap around into the string. Sorry. And save. Ta-da, we have here. Also, if you want to put something in the here on the end, so on the leading we have trailing. In trailing we want to put like one icon, icons dot mute, for example, and we have an icon. If we want to add more than the data, more than the 2 icons on a vertical basis, for example, one icon on the top and second on the bottom, or maybe we want to add one text, which is like a time. So what we can do, we can simply wrap this particular thing into the column, Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply wrap this into the column. It's a wrap with the column, and I will add like text chat time. See here you can see the chat time. Right, that's how you can do. As simple as that. Does it feel excited to you? Right? Within just almost 47 line of code, we are able to write like a small UI which almost look like in WhatsApp. Let me just make it just more look like a WhatsApp, where we can add the theme. Here in the theme we have theme data, and here what we can do, we can simply add the primary swatch which accept the colors, and here we will write colors dot green and save it, and we have a WhatsApp kind of thing available here. Right, so I hope this will help you to develop your application, and this might excite you how you can start with the Flutter. Let's just go back to the slides. Right, I hope you enjoyed the demo. Let me know in the comment section how do you like it. Now, apart from this, so this is what we have discussed about how Flutter is easy. But what if you have something for any device specific feature? For example, if you want to access a Bluetooth, if you want to access the NFC, if you want to access the GPS, how you can access this into the Flutter? So in Flutter, it provides the feature, called platform channels. So platform channels allows you to write platform specific code into a dedicated platform, and you can simply call that method from your Flutter application. Here in the diagram, you can see we have, for example, iOS application and Android application. I have a dedicated API for the Android and dedicated APIs for the iOS. I'm simply writing a method over here, and I'm calling that method from my Flutter app. And Flutter is quite intelligent. It knows on which platform it is running. It will call the method accordingly. So we are at the end of the session. So what are the benefits that you can get from the Flutter? It's like, so number one, it's compiled to the native code, no reliance on OEM widget. That means whatever you see on your screen, whatever you see on the screen, it will be get delivered to your customer. So because Flutter has the access of each and every pixel, because it runs on your canvas of your particular OS. So that means no reliance on OEM widget. Widgets are simple and fast. Full customization and extensibility available. As we have seen, we have created our own custom widget, which is my app. And you can see our app looks quite beautiful within like in 5 minutes. And Flutter for web and desktop is already on the way. So Flutter for web is currently in alpha, and Flutter for desktop is in beta. So you can try that out and let me know how you feel it. And that's it. So that is me, Dhrumil. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will try Flutter. Let me know how you feel about it. If you have any doubt, you can feel free to reach out to me. This is my ID. I'm available with this ID on Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. Feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much, GDG Rio de Janeiro and Raisa, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to the people from Brazil. I was so much excited when we had first talk, and you said, "Hey, Dhrumil, can you just come on the talk?" So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for this.
Thank you, Dhrumil. Tiago Carreira is asking if how do your demo example shows in a desktop browser? If you can show us.
Okay, so currently to do or to run this particular demo, Hello.
Sorry.
Okay. So the question is how. I mean, can I play this demo on the web? Is
Yes.
this the question?
And he asked, or would you need an additional things in order to create your own website using Flutter? Oh my God, my English is terrible. I got nervous. Sorry.
Okay. Let me just read the comment. It is from the Tiago, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Tiago writes, I know Flutter can be used to produce a web application also. How would your demo example shows in a desktop browser? Or would you need additional thing in order to create the website using Flutter? So to answer Tiago, currently the Flutter for Web is available on the beta channel. Currently, I am using the stable version of the Flutter. So if you want to explore the Flutter, especially for your web browser, you need to change your current Flutter branch to beta, and just simply and you can actually run this app on your web browser. So currently I'm on stable, so I cannot show you. But yeah, I will create a demo and I will share with you, and we'll post the link so that it will help you.
This will be great, I guess. It helps, Thiago. Ajuda, Thiago.
Okay, great. Is there any question that anyone have any question or something that I can help with?
Alguém mais tem alguma pergunta, alguma dúvida? Eu juro que eu vou fazer o meu máximo para traduzir. Thiago says thanks. It's difficult to translate in real time. And he's telling that he would love to try Flutter. So
great. Yeah. Awesome.
So I guess that's it. Thank you, Dhrumil, again for giving your time to our community. We are going to talk about Flutter here in Rio de Janeiro. This is Marcos Vinicius, and he's starting a community here in Rio de Janeiro. And Moisés asked you, what do you use today for management status in your applications?
Okay, would you need additional things in order to create website? That's the question?
No, it's the last one. I will translate to you. What you use today to management the states of your applications.
Let me just convert it as it is into the Portuguese. So
okay.
Yeah, what does it use today for application state management? Okay, so again, the state management is very tricky. It depends on what's your use case. If you want to manage your state into one single file, then the only state is enough. See, just understand, the state is actually two kind of state. One is a local, which is on the single screen, and the another is like a global state, which can be shared between the different screens. For example, if you are developing like mobile e-commerce or m-commerce application, just like one shopping cart application, where you need to manage that cart count, which is like globally, which can be changed by any product detail page, and you add to cart, click on add to cart button, it will get upgraded, right? So that's called a global state. The local state, I mean, whatever this you see on the single screen, and if you want to change, that is local state. Now, it depends on how your data has been flowing from one screen to another, or how big your global state is, and so there are different methods are available, different frameworks and the libraries are available. I mostly follow the provider as in dependency injection and the block architecture, and using the streams to manage my state in the application. So there is no standard way that you should follow one. It totally depends on what use cases it has been resolved. So whatever finds you best, or whatever the method you feel comfortable with, you simply go with that. And let me know if you find any problem.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I got the another question
Yes.
from the Fabio Jansen. Have you tried the Mobex? What do you think about it? Unfortunately, I didn't get a time to explore the Mobex, but I know the person who developed that the library, and he's also another GDE from India. It's a Pawan Pudia. As far as I know, it is again a good library, and yeah, as soon as I will explore it, I will share my review. As I haven't tried it out, so I can't say anything about it. Sorry for that.
Jessica asks what the references that you give for people who don't know anything about Dart and Flutter and want to start an application.
Okay, so if you don't know anything about the Flutter, then I guess the flutter.dev website, which I showed you, that is the best resource that you can go with. Let me just show you this one, the flutter.dev. You can simply go to this website, and whatever the basic information you need, you will be able to get it. Apart from this flutter.dev, there is a Google Code Labs available, and which is available from the website itself. Let me just show you how. You just simply go to get started, and here on the left side you can see each and everything, and here you can find one section called resources, and here everything is listed. If you want to know about the Dart, you simply click on Dart and you can see each and everything. All right, your compatibility policy, you're inside the Flutter. Yeah, if you want to see the technical videos, so you can see from here there are a lot of different channels available. There is another channel from another GD from India, which is Amtech Viral. You can use that. There are the different courses, paid and free courses available. There is a one good course from App Brewery, which I recommend to people to learn from. So yeah, so these are the things that are available currently to learn Flutter if you don't know anything about it.
Okay, I guess that answers. And Fabio said, think that Mobex is more friendly to newcomers.
The blog scares too much. I mean, I can relate this, Fabio, because I came to know about the Mobex from the different developers like you, and I agree that block pattern is quite complex because you need to take care of all the streams, and if you don't know how the reactive programming works, how the RX thing works, then it is a bit difficult for you to work with the block pattern. Yeah, so yeah, I agree that Mobex is going to be quite easy as far as I know, it is not using the streams, at least for the developers to write the code.
So I guess that was the last question. Thank
Cool.
you again. And I always thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Fabio, Jessica, Tiago, for your questions. I hope I was able to answer your question with the justified answers. Let me know. You can just, whatever your feedback is, you can just tweet about it so that, we can just get in touch.
Okay. Thank you. I gotta end this live. So that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Obrigada, pessoal, que assistiu essa live. Desculpa um pouquinho a confusão de links. Eu vou compartilhar agora com o link dessa gravação para todo mundo. Do welcome, Fábio. Gastando meu inglês. E é isso, gente. Vou deixar também o link do Twitter dele lá. Fiquem à vontade para perguntar qualquer coisa. E obrigada, pessoal. Tchau, tchau. Bye, bye.